En tenim tres, una, dues, i bueno.
I would like to know why the British did support, at least in some way, the Jewish movement, if the easiest way to end with the problem was supporting the Arabs and let the Arabs do the thing to the Jews.
The British policy was mainly to support the British. And that meant supporting the Zionist movement when it was convenient. And in 1939, it stopped being convenient because of the fears of Arab reaction after it managed to repress the Arab rebellion, was what was called the White Paper, which limited Jewish immigration into Palestine, which after the outbreak of war gradually ceased to be a problem because most of them were killed massacred in Europe, but limited the Jewish ability to purchase lands in Palestine. So this was considered a anti-Jewish policy, and the result were demonstrations and Jewish activity on various levels, including violent levels against the government. At the time, one of the battle cries of the of Arab popular organizations was, "The government is with us." In other words, the British government is with us. Now, your question is dependent on, or the answer to your question is dependent on who you ask. The Arabs at the time, in 1948, were convinced that the British were on the Jewish side. The Jewish belief, which was almost universal, and in some respects counterfactual, was that the British are on the Arab side. Everyone was convinced that the British are against them. It's impossible in a national movement, to consider that one of the players has different interests, and his interests are not necessarily the welfare of the Jews. It's not necessarily the welfare of the Arabs. But in the case of the Labour government after 1948, is creating a new Britain for the British. So if you look at it from the point of view of the Israelis or the point of view of Arabs, it seems inconsistent, but because true nationalists tend to be paranoid, it's always against them. But it's neither. The only way I can make any sense of British policy is if I assume that it's meant to serve British interests. And sometimes it can be interpreted as pro-Zionist, sometimes it's pro-Arab, pro-Palestinian, but that's not the purpose, the initial purpose.